Well, we were telling you in the last segment about a crazy decision in Waterloo at a school. This one's not quite as bad, but it's still ridiculous. This one from just down the highway in Hamilton, Ontario. We've told you about Cameron Bailey and his restaurant Hillbilly having a little while ago. Well, now the school board's involved and they're denying a co-op placement to Brett Bailey, the son of the owner. Cameron Bailey joins us now to talk about this. And Cameron, you are still feeling the fallout of one woman claiming that a sign in your restaurant was racist and the Hamilton Spectator deciding to write it up. For people that didn't see that or haven't heard this story, let's walk them through that a little bit. You've had your restaurant open for how long now?
It's been going 2 years.
2 years. And you've got a sign up in there that says what you don't have, but you put that up for a reason, didn't you? Your sign lists off, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have that. Why do you have that sign up?
Pretty much since we started, it's a Southern barbecue restaurant, and people aren't really aware what Southern barbecue is. So every time somebody came in and asked for something we didn't have, it got to be overwhelming, so we just kept adding to the list of things we don't have.
And so that's we're showing the sign there now. Halal, rice, kebab, shawarma, fries, wings, quarter chicken, Mexican, burgers. You know, as I said last time you were on, you're obviously racist because you don't like Germans. You said you never will serve burgers, and that's very German food. Why did they take it in that direction, and what's the fallout now?
I think, honestly, part of the problem was I did it in chronological order of how it was asked. So it started off with shawarma, kebab, and that's all people read. They didn't bother to read the rest of it.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. Now, your son wanted to do a co-op placement at the restaurant, wanted to get a high school credit for work experience. Very common practice in high schools. What happened, though, when they found out it was you that your son was going to work for?
Well, about a month prior to the media controversy, the school approved my son to work in the restaurant. I wasn't really in favor of it because he works there part-time, but the co-op coordinator told me that they had a hard time getting co-op employers and asked me if I would take them. I said yes. So after the media frenzy started, he came in to do his first day placement assessment of the store. His name's Sam Bassani from Hill Park High School. Mr. Bassani didn't do any research on the business, didn't read the paper, or anything. I informed him about the controversy, and immediately he said that Brett can't work here. Now, what he said was he was fine with it, but someone above him might question his decision, so he wasn't going to sign off on it.
All right, we've got a quote from Peter Joshua, superintendent at the school, and here's what he said. A requirement for a co-op placement is that it must be free from discrimination. Peter Joshua, superintendent of leadership and learning at Hill Park High School. Let me ask you, do you treat customers who are of a different ethnic background or race, do you treat them differently when they come in? Do you actually have racist signs up in your premises?
No, and that's the most disturbing thing. Peter Joshua said in his interview with CHTV and with The Spectator that he's never been in the restaurant. He's going off what the media flavor was. And he uses words like discrimination, which if you look at the actual meaning of discrimination, it's got nothing to do with what we do. We take anybody's money, and because we're capitalist.
Yeah, you're just serving the public. But if I guess they're looking at halal and shawarma, and you don't serve them. Oddly enough, you don't serve halal in a pulled pork restaurant. That aside, that would be common sense. They might be thinking, well, you don't like Muslims, you don't like people from the Middle East. If somebody from the Middle East walks into your store, do you berate them? Do you kick them out? Do they have any evidence of that?
Of course not, and that's the thing. They have no evidence of anything. But, I'm 50 years old. Back when I was growing up, you didn't throw around words like racism and discrimination, hatred. But, here we are now at 2012. Those are just punchlines.
Have you taken this up further with the school board? That's Mr. Joshua.
I wrote an email to every one of the school board trustees who passed me on to a woman who's superintendent of student achievement. Her name is Mag Gardner. I've never heard so much nonsense in my life coming from somebody, and really we got nowhere on it. She's, the school board's hell-bent on not having it. And there's nothing I can do. In fact,
well, it's kind of strange. You weren't in favor of it. at first because your son already works at the restaurant part-time.
Correct.
Then they said, we're having a hard time getting him a placement. Can you do this for us? You said yes. Now they say you can't do it at all. Where does that leave your son? Is he finding work experience in another restaurant?
No, he comes.
Another place?
He comes to the restaurant every day and works. I pay him. The funny thing was, Miss Gardner's solution to this, she had one of two solutions. Her initial solution was for Brett to drop out of high school and become a part-time student and work in the restaurant in the afternoons, which is totally bizarre. And her next solution was, let's have a cooling off period and we'll revisit co-op education at your restaurant a year from today. And again, I'm just shocked at the just arrogance and smugness of the whole thing. The Hamilton Spectator picked up on the story again and contacted me, then contacted Ms. Gardner, who called me back and asked me to stop having our conversations in the newspaper. And I said, the paper called me.
Yeah.
And her point was, and I said to her, really, aren't you proud of your decision? Don't you want the citizens of Hamilton to know, to see your leadership? And she said, I'm just trying to protect your son. And I said, protect my son from who? And
Now,
then
apparently from you.
obviously, and she said, this call is over.
All right. Well, Mr. Bailey, thanks so much for coming in today.
No problem.
And best of luck with the restaurant continuing. As I said the last time, I've had the food at the restaurant. If you're nearby, go eat. It's good food. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.